Hey friends, I wanted to bring to you all another skill builder block style video for you, and many of you had requested the 5440 or fight block. And after doing a ton of research, realizing it was an 1844 land dispute in Tennessee, political and all of this stuff, really what I found is I was much more intrigued by the name than the design of the block. It wasn't all that attractive in my personal opinion. But as I was doing research, I found the need to teach all of you the tall triangle, and I have a special guest that's gonna do just that. Are you ready? Let's get stitching. That's right, and the special guest?
It's me, Tiffany Hayes.
Oh, I'm so excited. Hey, high five.
High five. How you doing, Rob?
I'm wound up. I'm excited. I'm
Good.
stoked you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
This is the fun about getting to work in Texas, is hanging out with our buddies.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I guess I should tell a little bit more of the backstory before I put you on the spot and let you teach the rest of my tutorial. This is a Tom Sawyer style tutorial. Like I said, I was looking at the 5440 or fight block, and then you and I started talking about it, and I had forgotten that you had designed the goddess tool that makes those super cool tall triangles. I guess here's an example, right, of a tall triangle. But I didn't care for that block so much, but I really love some of the other things. So can I just let you explain the quilt we're looking at and your tool, and then walk us through some real simple stuff on how to make these?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. So we're going to talk about the quilt behind me. Behind us. This is Asteria. She is the Greek goddess of the stars, and she's a block of the month style quilt. And when I first decided that I wanted to teach this, it's big. It's like 106 inches square. Yeah. So it's a big quilt. That's a lot of fabric. Right. There's, the teaching fee for teaching in the store. And then I used 4 specialty rulers when I designed it. And so
that can kind of add up.
It adds up a lot. And at that point, the students were like, I was in, but that's too much. And I woke up in the middle of the night one night and I thought, oh, what if I can take this shape from this tool and this shape from this tool and this, and I shove them all together. Right. So I only have 1 tool for my students to purchase instead of 4 or 5.
I bet they love that.
They did. And I did it, and that made into this very funky shaped acrylic tool. Okay. Okay. So this being Asteria, Greek goddess of the stars, when I was working on the production of the tool itself, we were almost ready to produce. And I got a phone call from the company that was making the tool. And they said, okay, we're ready, but you got to name this thing.
Of course, got to have a clever name.
Got to have a clever name. I wasn't even trying to be clever. I was on the phone, and my friend Vicki had quilted this, and she knew it was a goddess quilt. That's kind of what we were going with. Right. And I said, oh crap, I got to name this. And Vicki says, well, it's a goddess quilt. Call it the goddess tool. And I'm like, it's the goddess tool.
Thank you, Vicki. Isn't that rad?
Yep. So that's how goddess tool got its name.
Easy.
Nothing super exciting other than heat of the moment.
Right.
On the pressure, had to come up with a name.
Right.
So with that being said, the goddess tool itself can do these tall triangles. Okay. It also does half square triangles. Right. Right in here.
I see them.
And it does some things I call corner cutaways, which are basically like the corner of a snowball block.
Oh, right.
And we can talk about snowball blocks in another time.
Sure, right.
But that's the 3 parts of the tool, and all I want to show today is how to do the tall triangle shape.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
The other thing I did was I shoved it all into 1 tool. Now the tall triangle part is basically the same as a Tri-Rex ruler. Creative Grids has one. There's a Peaky and Spike. There's all kinds of them out there. Oftentimes there are 2 pieces.
Oh, right.
And that works well when you have both pieces, but if you happen to hide one under some fabric that you don't know where it is.
The tutorial I filmed before we got together today, I couldn't find my slotted trimmer. And you know how much I love the slotted trimmer. Same thing, right? And I'm looking and looking, and I was like, forget it, I'm just going to trim. But yeah, I know what you mean.
So if you lose half,
no good.
You're out of luck. So I managed to shove them into 1 piece. Right. I mean, 1 tool does everything I need, other than, a regular rectangular ruler.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about first the actual triangle part of the tall triangle shape.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and...
You want me to get these out of your way?
Yeah, just that
I'm
one.
going to show this quilt real quick, folks,
Sure.
because of course I wanted to hang this big, beautiful goddess quilt on the back wall so we could explain from it. But again, we're just looking at tall triangle. So this is a very, very simple version. I hope that's not mean of me to say simple. It's easy construction. It's just a few colors, but it's really dynamic. Let me see if I can open up a little bit more for everybody to see. You know, it's just a really awesome pattern and high contrast. I know you love your batiks, but so we can do something as simple as this, but look at just the movement and the shape between the wide and the narrow pieces. I really like this kind of stuff.
It's the angle of the tall triangle and the angle of the half square triangle, because that's all that's in this quilt. It's just those angles, how they come together.
It kind of has it makes it look curvy-ish.
It totally looks curvy-ish.
Right? Storm at Sea does that?
Absolutely. Okay. And it's the angles. It's those angles that do the magic, because they're all straight line piecing.
Okay.
There's nothing curved in here.
Right.
Okay, other than the illusion.
All right.
All right.
Put that down there. Hopefully I won't get us in trouble here.
Oh, no. Okay. We don't need trouble.
No trouble here today.
Okay, so the first shape is the tall triangle. And let's see, where am I? And can you see?
Yeah, come a little closer to me.
There we go.
There you go.
All right. So the tall triangle is what I want to cut first. And this is a 4.5-inch strip. Like I said, this tool only does the shapes that I needed for this quilt. I've made multiple quilts since then using the shapes, but my objective for making this tool was only needing the shapes that were in this quilt.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this is going to make a finished 4-inch, what I call tall triangle, which is just the triangle in a square. Okay?
Okay.
So the first shape I want to cut is the triangle. And so I set my tool down on my strip, and then I grab something else, any other tool, and I set it down. I kind of slide this over and give this first cut. And
so you're not cutting left-handed?
I'm not cutting left-handed.
Or non-dominant handed.
Exactly, and I'm not rotating around. I'm just got my fabric and I'm ready to go.
Because I was going to ask you, I buried the Martelli mat. Do you need that today?
No, probably not.
Okay, perfect. I'll just leave it where it's at.
Very useful, but
you just showed us the other workaround.
Another workaround. So now when I set the tool down, it has a blunt edge at the top. It's got its angle here, and it's got a dotted line that's on the 4.5-inch, because this is a 4.5-inch strip.
I see it.
And now I just slice the other direction, and that gives me the basic tall triangle unit. I like to rotate my tools, not flip them. So if I was to rotate this around and set it again, I could cut, and I just continue down my strip of fabric for however many pieces I need for whatever project I'm working on.
And how many strips do you often cut? I mean, it looks like you've got it folded, so we got 2 pieces already.
Right.
Do you have a rule of thumb for how many you'll...
I do. I don't like to go more than 4.
Okay.
If I'm in a rush and I know my capabilities and I have a brand new blade, I'll go slightly higher than that.
You know, folks, if you didn't catch the New Year's Eve sew-along with the 2 of us, and we'll be doing it again this year, accidentally I started something that I really didn't mean to do, but it's become a lot of fun, which was Team Tiffany, Team Rob. And apparently that is the definition now of precision, accurate patchwork, and less than.
Oh, no.
I'm Mr. Less Than over here.
No, you're just free. You're a little more
free. I like that.
You had a free spirit.
Elegantly said.
Yes, okay.
So that means I might do 8 layers, and they're going to get a little more sloppy, and those are the differences between Team Tiffany and Team Rob.
Absolutely, but you know what? It doesn't really matter, because when we get done, we both have great product.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I just happen to have a little more precision buried in my soul somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, so. Okay, so I've got a tall triangle. I actually have 2, because like you said, this was folded. I only really need 1, so I'm going to go ahead and just set these pieces aside. Okay, now what I need are the pieces that are going to make this into a square. And I call those half tall triangles.
Okay.
There's a half of the triangle here and a half of the triangle here. And I brought a printed fabric because I wanted to be able to show how you get the mirrored image that you need, right? The first thing I want to do is cut off my selvage. So I'm going to line up any straight edge on my ruler here and grab a different tool and get rid of the selvage.
So that's just really, again, a trick for your getting to the dominant side, the dominant hand.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I like that.
A different friend, my friend Dawn, showed me that one.
Right.
You know, do we invent anything on our own? Maybe once in a small while.
And again, we have a guest host today teaching you all. We have friends who know how to do these things better than we do.
Exactly.
Right.
We learn from our friends.
Exactly.
Okay. So on those other rulers that have two pieces, you could just start with the piece that looks like this and go down your row. Okay. But because I've incorporated it all into one piece, we can't just start cutting triangles. We have to cut a rectangle that we're going to cut down to a triangle.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing I have to do is cut this 4.5 inch strip down into a rectangle. And it's a very odd sized rectangle.
Okay.
Because when I first started to do it, I went right to 3 inches and I found out it was just a hair shy.
Okay.
So I went to 3 1/8 and it was a hair too big.
Oh no.
So do you know where I'm going?
Are we going into a 16th?
We are going into a 16th.
I don't even know that line. Are those lines even on the rulers?
Yes, sir.
They're on yours? Maybe? No. They're here too.
They're here too. You want to see?
Yeah. Did I get my magnifying glass out?
No. I'm going to pull
Just my
over.
readers?
I'm going to pull over this one just so we can place the ruler on it so we can see. Okay.
Good idea.
So on the ruler, this is a Creative Grids ruler. Most rulers do the same thing. Not all. Every ruler seems to have its own little take in the world. And I've picked up a ruler in a class before and tried to show this, and it didn't do what I needed it to do. But most rulers do. And Creative Grids basic rulers do. So we know this is the 1 inch line. This is a 2 inch line. This is a 3 inch line. The next one over, this next little mark over here is an 1/8, correct?
Right.
But we need half of that. So if you look at the little tag that's this way, the tip of it is halfway between the solid line and the 1/8.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I like that.
So if
And this isn't one like with half square triangles, we could actually just go big and trim down?
No.
Okay.
No,
It's a
not
16th.
this. It's a 16th.
I invited you. I
Okay.
better listen.
You better.
You ask when someone for advice, you better take it.
So I'm going to line it up right on the 3, and I'm going to tip it over so I can see the very tip of the smallest lines that are going this direction.
Got it.
Okay.
So strips were 4.5 and
3 1/16. Okay. Got
Would
one
there be
cut.
a benefit to making a 3 1/16 strip and then cutting 4 inches? It's going to be the same.
It's the same. You still got to figure it out.
Got it.
Okay.
I guess it might only depend on what rulers you hold.
Absolutely. All right. Now this was a piece of strip of fabric off the bolt. So again, it was folded in half. Okay.
Perfect. I see.
And this one is wrong sides together, which is fine. To do this technique, you either have to have them wrong sides together, which I do this way, or right sides together, which we do this way.
Okay.
What we do not want is to have pulled fabric from our scrap and made rectangles and put them right on top of right, on top of right, on top of right, because then if we cut, we're going to get all of this way, this side, or we're going to get all of this side, this way. So again, we have to have opposites attract right there.
Right.
Okay.
This is great. You're cutting 2 at a time for both efficiency and design.
Exactly.
Double
Okay.
dipping.
Back to this one so we can look at it again.
Okay.
You see the dotted line here?
I do.
It's left of center, and this dotted line is along the bottom. This will be the bottom of my longest side of the rectangle, and the dotted line here will sit on the left of center. So I'm going to do this.
Oh, and I've got another tip. I know I keep interrupting, which is
Yep.
part of what I'm good at here. But it also looks like, because I know folks that are challenged, I watched a game of left, right, center a few nights ago, and there were some folks that had like tags on their hands and stuff. And so, look, folks, if you can't see, look, it's wider on that. And as quilt makers, you understand what that's all about. You need that. So
You do.
If you're not great with left and right, you can see why you would want the extra bigger.
Exactly. Exactly. Dotted line on the side, dotted line along the bottom.
This
Okay.
is genius.
Now we're going to do this diagonal cut, and we're going to come back and we're going to cut this itty bitty piece right on the top. I know you're going to think I'm insanely crazy. It didn't cut. That's okay. I'm going to turn around, rotated the tool around,
Okay.
set it on here. I must not have had my blade like all the way
Have you
open.
changed your blade out lately?
A couple days ago, but I might have
Been quilting lately?
I might have been quilting lately. So again, I'm going to take care of that itty bitty spot.
I got to do something real quick too. I want you all to notice. Look at it. She won't even, she brings her own weapons with her. Like it's, it's her cutter. I love it.
My cutter. Okay, how many cutters are there in the world? How many styles? Do you like them all?
No, I do not.
Do you like the one you like?
Absolutely.
So you bring the one you like.
Amen.
Okay, that's why. That's why. Okay, so I trimmed off that itty bitty triangle.
Is that going to be for lining stuff up?
It's going to be lining stuff up.
Okay.
Okay. So, but now when I open them, I have when I get my finger in here, a mirror image.
Is it impossible to line them up if you don't have those?
No, but it sure is more helpful when you do. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I like to set them like this before I go to my sewing machine, because if I don't lay them out and I'm busy thinking about something else and I pick them up, it's very easy to line them up very nicely like this.
And that's a whole new quilt block.
That's a whole new quilt block that you might make a new quilt with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get this one first.
Let's do this one first. Okay, so here we are. These are the pieces we need. And now when you take this one and you fold it over, that little line that I cut off, that itty bitty triangle, lines up perfect here.
Okay.
Along the bottom, and the piece that's behind right here, if we're sewing an accurate 1/4 inch, it will start here and it'll come out here. You want to try?
I do. Okay. And you pointed out that there's that little 1/4 overhang up there on the tip of the corner.
Yep. Not worried about it.
This bottom here.
Awesome.
I know you're nervous that I'm sewing this for you, and I'm using my 1/4 inch foot with an edge guide. So if it's not perfect, we're going to blame the sewing machine. It's always important to have an excuse prepared before you get started.
You know what the excuse was for me last week?
What's that?
The ship is moving.
Oh, yes. How was your cruise?
It was fabulous.
Scott said you had so much fun he was a little tired for a couple of days afterwards.
Yes.
I think I hit that point perfect.
I hope so.
Okay, I'm going to cut my thread. Foot comes up on its own. I think our iron might have chilled out while
I turned it on.
Oh, you were so smart. I shouldn't have said anything.
That's okay. Oh, it looks fabulous. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to press her open. So that's what I'm going to do.
I'm sorry, there's no clappers allowed in this room. So you'll have to figure it out with the... What do you have, fingernails or something?
I have fingernails. You know what I usually use? There are a couple of tools on the market that work to help.
What do you like?
The purple thing.
Oh, right.
Just to get it started.
Just to start it.
Just to get it started. Okay, we got the first side. And now we come back over and see this little triangle that's up the top? That helps line it up too. We know if we're lining up there
rad.
And we're lining up here.
Oh, look at that.
You can sew. Go ahead.
Okay, and I'm just going to rotate it because I always like to feed. Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, this is great, Tiffany. Look at that. Nice. Okay, Geronimo.
Okay. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Nailed it again.
Right?
Yeah, there is actually something nice to be said about preparing for accuracy and just good trimming, good sewing, slowing down a little.
Pressing. You don't want to iron the heck out of it.
Right.
You just want to give it a good press.
Are you going to do anything up in that top corner to bulk? Are you cutting any fabrics away? I guess is the question I was probably prematurely asking.
The only one that I would really, I mean, you could trim away this little bit here and you could trim away this. If you were working with a very light fabric and a very dark fabric, and you know, if you put your dark here and your light here, you'll want to trim just so those shadowings don't come through once your quilt is completely quilted. These are pretty light. I don't know that I'd really stress about this.
Okay.
You see how there's a little angle here?
Right.
That freaks people out sometimes. That's totally caught in your 1/4 inch seam allowance. And if you'd see this 1/4 inch down and a 1/4 inch this way, it's going to give you right at these angles.
And you could use that as a marker for accuracy as well, I would assume.
And you see your 1/4 inch down here. This should require, other than the dog ears, no other trimming.
Oh, wow. Okay. And I was wondering if you were going to do something up in here, but you know, there's no reason because it's still only at the most 3 layers.
Exactly.
4 technically. No, it's still only 3 layers at the most. I just knew there was a comment coming because I miscounted. This is rad.
So,
yes.
So now, even though you may not be making the Tennessee Waltz or the 5440 or Fight or even a Storm at Sea. Now, the Storm at Sea usually has, you know, a big diamond, but you can make these into 2 pieces, put them together and put them into the Storm at Sea. And you could actually change your fabric coloring a little bit to give it some more dimension, as if a Storm at Sea needs even more dimension. Right. But you could.
But it wouldn't affect the math of the Storm at Sea pattern.
No.
Even with the seam up the middle.
Even with the seam up the middle.
Because you've accounted for that in your patchwork.
Exactly. So now we just need to look at a couple other things that have these shapes in them. So on this one, this time the dark is the tall triangle and the light is the background.
Right.
And
it's kind of like, what I like here is you've done the opposite side here, so the way this brings it together, it's straight line, but like you said, it has this bit of a bend, so if you look at this from a distance and with the proper contrast in your fabrics, it does make this really neat curving effect.
Yep.
Really
so I was looking for it. This is the dark one with the lights, this is the light one with the darks. So you can make all kinds of things with this. Once you've mastered this little unit, Man, the world has opened up for you.
This is
correct?
Incredible. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
awesome.
let's show these two.
Sure. Is there a top to any of these?
No, they're square.
Okay. Square. Awesome.
We like square.
These are pretty.
So this one has some tall triangles in it.
Would it be easier if I just hold it? Here, I'll just do this for you.
Okay. Where did Rob go?
That's all right. They like it. They probably appreciate it. They can hear me still. He's got his microphone on.
Exactly. So light tall triangles with dark on the half tall triangles. And this quilt is actually it's a 3-block quilt. There's a block here in the center, there's a block in the corner, and then there's the same block, but it's just mirrored right here. Actually, it's just rotated. And so I remade this quilt in another set of colors. I moved the corners to the center and the centers to the corner, and that's what this quilt is right here. And it's still got tall triangles in it.
Tiffany, are these patterns available at Stitchin Heaven? I mean, I know I should know that answer, but if I can put up a link for everybody, probably.
Probably.
Okay.
We'll have to check. So these are called Muse.
Wow.
And see, the center went to the outside corner and the outside corner went to the center, but these stayed the same and changed colors, which really gave a whole new dimension, a whole new visual to this quilt. It's amazing to me when we change just fabric colors, what it does to a quilt.
So, look too. Oh, wow, that's pretty.
So this is Muse, and this is Asteria. Asteria was a block of the month they've run at Stitchin Heaven.
Okay.
Who knows, it might run again, but I think you can just get the quilt pattern all at once as well.
Wonderful.
All right.
And then the one we showed at the beginning, was there a name to that pattern?
There is a name, and I'm not sure if Stitchin Heaven has it. If not, I'm sure we can get it.
Okay.
If you turn this one, this one is not square. So let's turn this one so that this is the top.
Okay.
And now this one, because it's made with bally batiks, and I felt it was dancing, I called it bally dancing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So there we go. We don't even have to wiggle it, and it dances.
Yeah, it moves. That's really cool.
Okay.
Beautiful. Well,
again, there are multiple things you can do with that unit.
Yeah, this is great. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings out there, but I'm a lot more inspired by these than I was by some of the photos I did see of those 54 or 40 or fight blocks. But what I do appreciate is all of you asking and following along and commenting and letting us know what you'd like to learn. And then that way I can call upon my friends and we get all of this great inspiration. And now I better pick up a goddess tool and start playing with this and trying this stuff out as well. So
awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here.
Okay.
Really appreciate it. And to all of you, make sure you comment, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. Till next time, stay well. Isn't that easy? I love it. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. It really helps support our channel. If you haven't subscribed, do so now. Hit the little button to be notified every time we go live or do a new video for all of you. And here's one from the past I think you'll really enjoy.